What's up YouTube, this is Bystander X99. Guys, I'm coming to you today with my newest deck profile video for the September 2018 ban list. And as you can see right here, I'm going full force for the top deck in the meta, Sky Strikers. Alright? Sky Strikers took the YCS by storm. If you guys look at any of the coverage, a lot of those YCSs here in the United States, Europe, and in Mexico City, Sky Strikers took pretty much over half the top 64 slots in a lot of those events. This deck has some great grind game, it has amazing matchups, and with my particular build, I think I have some answers to the meta to actually make this version of the deck win. So without further ado, we're going to get right into it, as of course, we're going to first come off with the monsters. And we gotta start off with the lady of the deck, Sky Striker Ace Ray. Alright, level 4 Darker Tribute Warrior type monster. Has a quick effect that allows her to tribute herself so you can special summon one of your Sky Striker Ace Link monsters to the board. Easy. Also has a non-effective in case one of your Sky Striker Ace Link monsters are destroyed. She special summons herself back from the graveyard, which is pretty awesome. Alright. Before she was being 1 or 2 with a lot of decks, myself, I kind of liked her at 3. I know with 3 Horned Drones, this might seem like a lot. I really never had an issue with playing her at 3, so she needs to be at 3 now because Horned Drone got put down to 1. Alright, and of course the next card, I have 2 copies of Phantom Sky Blaster. Alright, this card was played around with later last format. It's a token generator. Basically, if you have one of your Link monsters, you summon this guy out to your field, it can special summon up tokens equal to the number of monsters you control. So the Link plus this guy gives you 2 tokens, and then you can climb up the Link ladder using those tokens. Very standard play. Yeah, no, a lot of people didn't like it because you had a hard drawer, but I did add in some extra draw power into this deck to make it a little bit easier to get to. And speaking about draw power, since the top deck is going to be Sky Strikers, you need to be running 3 copies of Draw Unlock over Ash Blossom. Draw Unlock shuts down searching and drawing for the entire turn. An Ash Blossom on an engage might not do anything, especially if your opponent can go into a Kagari to recur that engage and just go off from there. Alright, so doing that only means you wasted the Ash Blossom and they can still go off from this. Ash Blossom shuts that down. It basically shuts that down because they can't search anything with Engage or even Shizuku at the end of their turn, making this the preferable card over Ash Blossom. Another hand trap, which is going to be very good in this mirror match as well as other matchups like Goki, is going to be DD Crow. Okay. Like I said before with Ray, Ray is in the graveyard, you turn around and destroy one of the Sky Striker Ace Link monsters, she can special summon herself from the graveyard, you can chain this card and banish her from the graveyard. They're not going to be able to get back onto the field unless they have another way to get to Ray. Matchup against Goki, they activate rematch, you banish one of those targets, the effect fizzles. Same thing with Monster Reborn, Call of the Haunted, Soul Charge, back to the front. Any cards like that recur monsters from the graveyard, this card can just banish them and shut those cards down. And speaking about Call by the Grave, this card can actually help you defend against that, because Call by the Grave has to have you target one of the monsters in your graveyard. You can activate this card in response, banish that card, and they just wasted a Call by the Grave. So this is a very good card. I run 2 main. I'm going to have a 3rd in the side when needed. And last but not least, running 2 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit because face-up effects activate. You can chain this card to it and just pop the card. Alright, so that's it for the monster line. On to the spells, and of course I was mentioning Call by the Grave. I run 2 copies of Call by the Grave in this deck. I know a lot of people don't like using multiple copies of this card in the deck, but I do. I this card's at 2, it's a great defensive card to have. It needs to be in here at 2 so you can see it a little bit more often. Alright? Banish this cards from the graveyard. Your opponent can activate the same monster's effects for the rest of their turn. Which means you can shut down hand traps or any other monster effects that you feel you need to take out. 1 copy of Reinforcement or Army. You need ways to get to Ray in this deck. Rhoda is perfect. Ray is a level 4 warrior monster, so for some more draw power, I have 2 copies of Share Ride. Anytime your opponent adds cards to their hands, you get chain this card and you just start drawing cards from that. So it's great in the mirror match. It's great against Gokis. With the way this deck can manage its resources, it's an amazing card to have. Alright. Then we have 2 copies of Sky Striker Airspace Area 0. Alright. This thing is kind of like the pot duality of the deck. Basically, you target a monster you have control on your field. Then you excavate the top 3 cards of your deck. You add one Sky Striker card from your actually add one of those cards from that you excavated to your hand. If it happens to be a Sky Striker card, you send that card, the targeted card, to the graveyard. And also, basically, you could turn around, and if it's ever popped, you can basically special summon 1 Sky Striker Ace monster from your deck. So that's going to basically be Ray right there. So if it ever's popped, you should get a Ray. So 1 copy of Afterburner. This thing pops a card, and if you have 3 more spell cards in your graveyard, you get to destroy a spell or trap card on the field. All right. 2 copies of Sky Striker Mecha Eagle Booster. Basically, opponent can't activate this card. Opponent can't target your monsters with card effects, and if you have 3 or more, that same monster can't be destroyed by battle, which is insanely amazing. This is a great defensive card, worth running. Okay, the 1 Hornet Drones, because it's at 1 right now, generates a token, so it can allow you to go into your links. Even at 1. You can still recur it with Kagari, so use his tokens multiple times per turn to be able to climb up the link ladder. Of course, you have Sky Striker Mecha Shark Cannon, banish a card from the opponent's graveyard, or you can special summon to your side of the field, whatever you feel like. Quick effect, so it's kind of like a 3rd DD Crow. Three copies of Sky Striker Mecha Whittle Anchor, negate effects, and if you have 3 more spells, steal that monster from your opponent. Alright, you have 2 copies of Multi-Roll. This is an awesome card. For one thing, basically target 1 card on your field you control, send the card to the graveyard, and if you do, your opponent cannot activate cards in response to your Sky Striker spells, which is so freaking amazing. It basically makes every single one of your Sky Striker spells spell speed 4. It also allows you to recur cards equal to the number of the ones you activated that turn back onto the field. Of course, they vanish when they leave, but it's just a great way to be able to get stuff back on the field to reuse things on your follow-up turn. And of course, we can't run a Sky Striker without 3 copies of Sky Striker Mobilize Engage. This guy searches everything searches anything Sky Striker in your deck, whether it be Ray or any of your spells. You need it, this will get it for you. And if you have 3 more spells in your graveyard, guess what? You are drawing a card on top of that. And it's not hard once per turn, so 1 copy of Terraforming, search up the field spell. 2 copies of Twin Twisters. I love Twin Twisters, especially in the mirror match, considering that you have to discard a card from your hand to destroy 2 of your opponent's cards, which is, like I said, great in the mirror, because your opponent's going to be having a lot of cards on the field, activated during the end phase, and just knock stuff out. So there won't be problems. And especially if they have multi-roll, you can just basically get those cards banished fast. And last but not least, 1 copy of Upstart Goblin, because you want that extra draw. The 1,000 life points really shouldn't matter in this particular situation. For the traps, only run 4 traps. I actually run the best going second trap card in the game, evenly matched. Basically, your opponent extra links you. If you're playing Goki, your turn, you have this card in your hand, enter battle phase, end battle phase, drop this card, wipe their field clear, watch them rage. And then from there, you can just go off in your main phase too. And then last but not least, I have 2 copies of Solemn Strike. Negates monster effects and also stops inherent summons, link summoning specifically. Okay, so that's it for the main deck. On to the extra. Gonna start off with 2 copies of Sky Striker Ace Hayate. Can poke directly, and it acts, and when it does, it acts like a full burial, sending a Sky Striker spell from your deck to your graveyard. Ups your spell count for your graveyard. And it also combos well with the next card, which is going to be 3 copies of Sky Striker Ace Kagari. Whenever she's link summoned, you basically are able to target a spell in your graveyard, get it back into your hand. So she's a combo extender right there. And then last but not least, we do have 3 copies of Sky Striker Ace Shizuku. During the end phase, you get to search a card, Sky Striker spell card that's not the same name as one in your graveyard. I know, kind of weird, but it's also one thing I do want to mention before I go, because we have Sky Striker Ace Shizuku and Kagari. They actually have power-up effects for themselves. Kagari actually increases her attack by the number of spell cards that are in your graveyard, and Shizuku actually reduces your opponent's cards attacks, monsters attacks, by the number of spell cards that you have in your graveyard. So don't forget those either. Alright, for some other Link shenanigans, I have 2 other Link ones. We have Link Karibo and Link Spider. Primary reason is because they're both, we have a lot of tokens in there. You can use those to climb Link ladders in case you don't have any particular other monsters to utilize. Alright, for Link 2s, I do run a mini Nightmare Thing, Cerbis, which can turn around and go after special summon cards, and Nightmare Fairness, which goes after back row. I'm not really using this for their co-link effects. I'm just primarily using for them to go after particular cards. You have Topological Trisbania, which is going to be huge in the mirror match. Whenever something special summons to the zone points to, you banish it, and you basically blow up and banish all the spell and traps they have on the field. And then you inflict burn damage to your opponent equal to that. So it's pretty huge in the mirror match. Can help win games. Okay. Of course, for Link 4s, I have Borload, because, you know, Borload is Borload. It's problematic. Can't be targeted. Steals best monsters. You get what I got going for. And last but not least, I also have Topological Bomber Dragon. Primary reason why it's in here is because it nukes the main monster zones, which is actually very important since you can't have monsters in the main monster zones to activate the majority of your Sky Striker spells. Keeping that clear can allow you to turn around and keep pushing on for damage. And whenever it attacks, you can inflict more effect damage by its effect, which is pretty awesome as well. Alright. So guys, this is my Sky Striker deck profile for the September 2018 ban list. This is the best deck of the current meta. Guys, I hope my video informed you on what you should expect to see in Sky Striker matchups. It's hopefully giving you ideas about how to counter the deck, and if you're playing the deck, it hopefully gives you ideas about what to be running in the deck as well. So guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any type of content. Don't forget to enable notifications. That helps you not miss anything as well. And guys, until next time, I'll be seeing you. Peace.